Greetings, everyone. This is a story time, a real story for you on this beautiful day. Some years ago, I met this senior citizen. She was from Jamaica, but lived in Canada for over 40 years. And this senior citizen took a liking to me. I was about 24 at the time. And we met at the bus stop and exchanged numbers, and she would call me and invite me to come to her place. She lived on the same building as myself, so she would call me and she would ask me to dye her hair. First time I ever dyed anyone's hair, it was her hair. And when I told her I didn't know how to do that, she says, "Oh, yes, you can. You can do it. I'll tell you how to do it." Or she would ask me to come and press her hair using that electric pressing comb. And it was just such an awesome time to bond with this lady. Sometimes I would bring my movie with me. Back in the day, we used to use the DVD. And when we were watching, videos, little movies and stuff like that, and she would see intimate scenes. And one day we were watching TV and she saw, this intimate setting, and the woman was in that missionary position. Well, no, it was a flip. So just put your mind there. And she freaked out because she says the woman was taking over the man's job. I'm telling you this story because I want to date where she was at. Those older, women, those women who are close to the old tradition or the old way of living. So I learned a lot from this woman. When she got sick and her child forced her to go to a nursing home, tricked her, told her she was just going to be there until she recovered, and then ultimately forced her to stay there. I went to see her at the nursing home because she was my friend. I loved her. She loved me. At one point, she was getting the lawyers to sign over everything she owned to me, but I didn't agree because she had children. And it isn't that I fear her children. I just felt like I didn't want to be a part of that. There's so much more to that story that I could share another time. But that's how much she loved me, to where she wanted to give me her inheritance. And so when I went to see her, her mind was always ticking. She was a smart lady. But, her disability prevented her from moving around. Having lived in Canada for so many years, she developed arthritis in her knees. And so she wasn't mobile after a while. When I went to visit her, to bring her food and just to, give her company, because where she was staying, all the people that were there were not of sound mind. So when I went there that day and I was walking towards her room, I saw all these people standing in the hallway. All of them seemed so oblivious to life, looking in the ceiling, looking around, shaking, mumbling to themselves. Just imagine that scene. Some look like zombies, to be honest with you. And when I passed them, all of a sudden I felt myself going forward. One of these zombie looking type of people punched me in my back so hard. It threw me forward. I stumbled. If I wasn't younger or as agile as I was then, I would have fallen on my face. And when I look back, I couldn't tell who did that to me. They were all still looking in the ceiling, looking around. One of them punched me in my back, and I thought to myself, you are evil. You were wicked when you were young, and you're still very wicked and even more evil in your old age. And I watched them as they were crawling around, some of them in misery. Some of these people you see in some of these places are evil. And so when you work in these environments and you're taking care of them, some of them offering to hit you, some of them spitting, some of them saying all kinds of things, calling your name. And you can see by their fruits, you know them. Listen, I see a lot of senior citizens that are going through all kinds of stuff in life, and they're so sweet and so humble. So the ones that you see in their misery or their miserable state in their senior years, they are just pure wicked. There's a demon in the world that is not going to be content until he takes out millions of people, because guess what? He is on the verge. The wicked is on the verge, predicting years before what was going to be. And we saw what happened in the last 3 years. And now that demon is writing another book to talk about what's going to happen in the next one. Demon. Very, very evil. These ones will never stop. They can never stop. Their heart is tied up with wickedness. And so when we see them speak and we watch how they work, they're moving from one evil to the next. They cannot sleep at night. And sometimes people say, oh, when is the universe going to handle and deal with these ones? They're being dealt with. You just don't know. You don't really get to hear their story, but you can see the misery because they don't sleep. They're always meditating on the next wicked act. And one cannot close well before they jump on the other. Do you understand? So don't waste your time on these ones. Use the opportunity to find yourself. Everything that is happening that, is showing chaos. Remember, these ones cannot stay silent. They cannot be quiet because they're ruled by the dark forces. And the dark forces control them. And they are always trying to pay penance to the dark forces. You see, if you are someone who is going to are using dark energies to do harm to other people, listen, it's only a matter of time before they come back to collect. Not the people you sacrifice or you try to, but collect you. They can't stay still. They can't stop doing wickedness or evil in the world because they have to pay penance for the things that they have done. They have no peace. And so they must always look for opportunity to wreak havoc or war. And so when you sit in the sidelines and you have your hands folded and you're watching and you're thinking, why are they getting away with all of these things? They're not getting away. The old woman punched me in my back, threw me forward, and someone will excuse her and say she doesn't know what she's doing. She knows what she's doing. She was like that when she was very young. She didn't turn into that because of some mental health situation. No. So leave revenge. And I'm not going to say leave revenge to God, because God is not into revenge. That's the next thing that people say all the time that makes me roll my eyes. If you're going to some spirit being to do revenge, no. It's not about revenge. The wicked seek revenge. The righteous know there will be justice. And so you ask for justice, not revenge. And you make sure that if you have done harm to someone, you seek their forgiveness. But more important, you ask that you be delivered from the thing that you do. Because everything that we do, whether it's good or bad, there's a penance to pay. It's just this domino effect. You touch good on one side, you're going to receive it from the other, and vice versa. This is why we have to always put ourselves in a position where we're praying without ceasing. We're having that conversation. We're connected to nature always throughout your day. And as you pray for others, you have to make sure you're cleansing yourself, because the energies that are out there that are attached, negative ones in particular, that are attached to people, when you come before the throne of grace and you're praying for these ones, remember they're going to attack you. And when you're constantly in that place of prayer, you're going to be feeling very lonely. I feel very lonely sometimes, extremely lonely, because how many persons can I talk about the things that I believe in or the things that I practice that is demonized? And how many persons will understand my need to be connected at every hour of the day? Until you understand that it is a relationship that is essential between you and the spirits, and not a situation where you're always asking for something just for you. We have to be prepared to ask for ourselves, but we also have to be there to pray on the behalf of other persons, to seek, harmony and peace and blessings upon them and our family at the same time. But while you're seeking blessings, you have to be prepared to speak the truth. And when people are doing things that are not right, you should be able to say, this is not right. Stop it. And when you are doing things that you know isn't right, and it's difficult sometimes for you to give it up, you have to ask for the strength to overcome those weaknesses. Stop feeling sorry for wicked people. Leave them for the day of judgment. They will always and forever position themselves to do harm to other persons, but they fail to understand that ultimately they harm themselves. We leave them to time and we leave them to the Most High. Stay blessed, everyone.